So what I chose for this demonstration is the phrase children for Abraham, or the concept, I should say, of being children of Abraham. You can see in this particular context, I'll remind you that we have people thinking to themselves, we have Abraham as our father, and John the Baptist is warning them not to do so. Because if they bank solely on that, their heritage, in terms of being connected to God, chosen of God, and children of Abraham, well, God is able to turn stones into children of Abraham. So they shouldn't bank on that. But that's what we saw from this passage. What do we understand about this concept of children of Abraham broadly throughout the Bible? To answer that question, we of course do a search, and you can see I've already been doing searches, but let me just walk through from the beginning what you might do in searching this, where you might start, and how you might improve that search along the way. So if we start with just children, Abraham, it's going to find us all the results where both the word children and Abraham appear in a single verse. And you can see we have 19 results. But we want to make sure we're not missing verses, because we want to get a clear idea of the whole teaching of Scripture. And so we want to search wide. And so I might change this to be child asterisk Abraham, because that's going to get me not just the words or verses where you have the words children and Abraham together, but verses that have children or child together with Abraham. And so I searched that, and now I'm up to 26 results. Let's keep widening this out a little bit more, though, in considering the reality that it might use father language or son language, not just child language. And so I'm going to actually put Abraham first, and then you can see where I end up here. If I do Abraham, and then I do parentheses, it's saying that I want results with two things. It has to have the word Abraham in it, and it has to have one of these three words in it as well. And so it needs to have Abraham in either child or children, or son or sons, or father. And so when I see a combo like that, there's a high likelihood it's dealing with the subject that I'm looking for. Now it gives me 97 results, but there's a caveat here, because what I just said is only true most of the time. A lot of the results in the book of Genesis, because that's the narrative where Abraham appears, and a lot of that narrative surrounds the idea of him having children, having sons. A lot of the hits in Genesis are actually not going to be what I'm looking for, because this is talking about Ishmael. And this is talking about Isaac and God's promise of those children to come to Abraham. So 97 results, a lot of the times, is going to be too many to carefully read through. But in this case, because I can skip the book of Genesis, which has 53 results all to itself, I'm left with a more reasonable number of results to look through. Of course, if I was going to write a dissertation on this, I'm going to want to go through the Genesis results as well, because I might be missing something. But for the sake of this demonstration, and for the sake of just general Bible study, when you're searching for such things, you have to make choices like this and go wide and go narrow appropriately, so that you can handle the amount of information coming your way. But if we look from Exodus on, I'm going to now look at my list as I continue to talk here, because I already looked through these. You would want to go through every single one of these, and you're looking for which are results that actually are relevant for this topic, because there are going to be results that aren't relevant. So an obvious one would be Exodus 3:15. And we find the word sons, we find the word Abraham, but they're not connected together. So it's not what we're looking for in this search. And so we're going to skip by several results that aren't particularly relevant and come to the ones that are. And so one example, which is certainly relevant, would be Joshua 24:2 and 3. You can see we have two verses, one right after another. And so maybe I'll look at it in context so we can see them together. And we see here that Joshua was saying to all the people, and so now we have a nation, not just a couple children of Abraham, but a nation. And in verse 3 it says, "Then I took your father Abraham." So we can see at this point, it is acceptable and right for Joshua to refer to all the people, well, rather to refer to Abraham to all the people as their father. And so this idea of children to Abraham, for Abraham, of Abraham is already developed at this point. And so we can see that just simply meaning those descended from Abraham. As we continue on, we can see another instance of this in Psalm 105, O offspring of Abraham, his servants, children of Jacob. Same sort of idea. But when we get to Isaiah 51, I think the idea at least has potential to be changing slightly. Because it says here, and I'm going to open up the entire chapter so we get a little more context. It says, listen to me, you who pursue righteousness, you who seek the Lord. So who's he speaking to? He's speaking to those who seek the Lord. It says, look to Abraham, your father. And so is this exclusive? Meaning, is it only those who seek the Lord who have Abraham as a father? I'm not sure that's definitive in Isaiah 51, but it smells like that a little bit. And so we keep that in the back of our mind as we continue on. And again, you're going to take a longer time and look through each one of these results, but I'm going to skip down to Matthew 3:9. We see a parallel passage to Luke where we got the idea for this search from. And like we saw in Luke, we see this idea of God able to swap out old children of Abraham for new children of Abraham. So certainly now getting into the New Testament, this is a dynamic reality, whereas it seemed simple back in Joshua, namely that if you're a descendant of Abraham, you are a child of Abraham, and then begins to take on a sense of a heart of Abraham, like we saw in Isaiah 51, it becomes very clear in chapter 3 of Matthew and then in Luke 3 that this is dynamic as well, at least potentially dynamic. God can swap out children of Abraham for even rocks that he would make into children of Abraham. As we continue on, we come to John 8:39, and this is a very pointed passage that further colors our understanding of this topic. Here we find Jesus speaking to religious leaders, and he says, they answer him, I guess first it's the religious leaders answering Jesus, says, Abraham is our father. And Jesus said to them, if you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works Abraham did. He goes on and he talks about how you're actually children of the devil, who's a liar, and continues on this same theme. You can see several hits here, all the way down through verse 56, where he says, your father Abraham rejoiced that he would see my day. So in one sense, Jesus is saying, you're not really children of Abraham. Because if you were, you would do what he did. He looked for me. You're doing the opposite. You want to kill me. You're children of the devil. So on the one hand, he's saying that, but on the other hand, he's in at least one sense still affirming that they are children of Abraham. Your father Abraham rejoiced that he would see my day. Now, is he saying that they are permanently children of Abraham? Probably not, obviously, from what he said before. But there is a sense in which they are, but not really. And that seems to be the main category or the main paradigm by which we're supposed to understand these things. As we continue on, we can see Stephen speaking to those who are about to stone him to death and saying, our father Abraham, so it's including them in, although they haven't really demonstrated yet whether they are going to be broken off, exchanged out, thrown into the fire, as it says in Luke 3 and in Matthew 3, or established as children of Abraham yet. It's going to be shown by the end of the chapter when they look to stone him. And then the same sort of thing we see in Acts 13, where Paul says, sons of the family of Abraham. He addresses his countrymen that way. But we really get a lot of clarity when we get to the epistles. So here in Romans 4:12, we see that, well, let's read some context since it starts mid-sentence, talks about Abraham receiving the sign of circumcision as a seal. The purpose was to make him the father of all who believe without being circumcised, so that righteousness would be counted to them as well, and to make him the father of the circumcised, who are not merely circumcised, but also walk in the footsteps of the faith that our father Abraham had before he was circumcised. And so here things are getting very clear. Ultimately, the children of Abraham are those that walk in the footsteps of faith of Abraham. Or, like Jesus said back in John 8, do the works of Abraham. And you can see this further emphasized later in the chapter. It depends on faith, so that the promise may rest on grace, be guaranteed to all his offspring. And it's the one who shares the faith of Abraham, who is father of us all. And then here in verse 18, a hit that just comes up in the net 2 in the NIV, it says, against hope, Abraham believed in hope, with the result that he became the father of many nations. And then we remember, at least I remembered when I got to this, that there certainly was a hit in Genesis of very great importance, and that is the renaming of Abraham from Abram to Abraham, because that's where God calls him a name that means a father of a multitude of nations. So who are the children of Abraham? Well, it's not just the children of Israel. That was clear back in Genesis 17, though it wasn't highlighted much for many, many centuries to come. Isaiah seemed to touch on it a little bit, and then it explodes on the scene with the coming of Jesus. So we could look at Romans 9, Galatians, but I think we'll just leave it there for now and conclude from these highlights of the verse that I'm bringing out after looking through each and every one of them, that the children of Abraham are those that come from Abraham. In the most basic sense, it means his offspring and descendants. But in an ultimate sense, that means those who are children in the likeness of his faith, that do his works looking for Jesus. They are children of Abraham.
The Bible isn't just a puddle. While it is fun to jump into a puddle, studying Scripture should never end with that short-lived thrill of just a 2-second splash. When you jump into the Bible, you're jumping into something of oceanic depths. Now, if that sounds fun, but also a little intimidating, we want to help. Learn to scuba dive the deep thoughts of God through online courses and learning resources at Biblearc Equip.